Hi, everybody. How you guys doing? Let's get a thumbs up for everyone joining into the room. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. We do have an interpreter. We also ask that if you can please, if you do not need the interpreter, to turn off your video. So only the people who need an actual interpreter need to have their videos on. Other than that, we would like for everyone to have their videos off and muted as well. Thank you so much, all the students and the professors who are joining us. We really appreciate all your support. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. Please make sure that you have your videos off if you do not need an interpreter, and that you're muted as well. And we will get started shortly. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Play some music just for a couple of seconds.
Hi, my name's Allie. I just want to say, while you guys are waiting, if you want to talk in the chat, that's perfectly fine. How's everyone's classes going? It's good to hear that people's classes are going well. We're in the third week, isn't it crazy? I understand slowly adjusting to quarantine. I understand also adjusting to online. Online classes are a whole different thing, so.
Just want to say thank you to everyone for coming in and supporting SSD, Services to Students with Disabilities. We appreciate everyone's support. It's a huge adjustment going to school online. I know it's very different for everybody. So thank you guys for typing in the chat.
Again, I just wanted to remind everyone, Christina, please have your video off. Even if you do need the interpreter, please have your video off. You can still see her, and we'll be starting shortly. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone, for coming in. We appreciate you coming in. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Tonight, we are having our Parkinson's Awareness Month. This video will be recorded for this event. If anyone does not agree with the recording, please notify us immediately so we can make the proper adjustments. Good afternoon and good evening, everyone, students, professors, and staff. My name is Christina Williams, and I am the assistant, and my assistants for this event will be Allie Butler and Sabrina Solis. My name is Christina Williams again, just in case you guys didn't get a chance to hear. And I'm a student employee for Services to Students with Disabilities at CSUSB. This evening, we will be discussing Parkinson's awareness with one of our very own faculty members, Dr. Winifred Scott. Dr. Scott is an associate professor in the Department of Accounting and Finance. Thank you for agreeing to interview with us, Dr. Scott. We're so glad to have you here with us tonight to discuss this important topic. Like I said again, we ask that everyone turn their videos off and mute yourselves. If anyone has any questions throughout the video, or if you guys just want to show some love by clicking the like button, the thumbs up button, or the applause button, just feel free to do so. If you have any questions, put them in the chat box, and we will hold them until the end of the interview, where we'll do our best to answer your questions. And then please stick around until the end for an opportunity drawing. One of you guys will be the lucky winner of a gift card. So if you stick around, you'll get a chance to win. Okay, thank you so much again for joining in with us. And we'll go ahead and get started with getting to know Dr. Scott.
Yeah, or if you can pin her video.
Let's see.
I know. So
Dr. Scott, we would like to ask you our very first question, which is we just want to get to know you a little bit better personally. How did you develop your passion for the field of accounting?
Is she popping up now? I can't hear her. She's muted.
So,
there you go. Well, I developed my passion for accounting years ago.
So we can hear you, Dr. Scott. Can you talk a little bit louder for us?
I say I developed my passion for accounting years ago. Back when I was in my early 20s, I had this job as an accounts receivable clerk, and I did that well. So then I changed my major from nursing to accounting.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much for answering that question. And what inspired you to become a professor?
Ooh, well, we have a lot of changes in life and crossroads. And so what got me started was in 1990, I gave birth to twins. And so
Wow.
then I said, what am I going to do? I want to stay home and be that kind of mother who would raise the children staying home. So I said, how can I do this? And so I moved out to Rialto way. And I went back to school at Cal State San Bernardino, and I got my master's, my MBA in business administration, with emphasis in taxation. And then they was telling me, and I became a fundraiser for myself. So I started looking for various scholarships, and I got that while I was in the MBA program. I had so many scholarships. I have a picture, we were in a newspaper, in the Sun magazine, Sun newspaper on the front page. And then I wanted to stay home longer, and I found out there was fellowship money available for the PhD program. So then I decided to go to the PhD program, and I went to Florida State. I was interviewed at Arizona State, Texas A&M, and Florida State, and I chose to go to Florida. So when my twins were 3 years old, the three of us moved from California to Florida.
Wow, that's awesome.
That got us started.
So how long have you been teaching at CSUSB?
Since 2018.
Wow.
I've been teaching since 1999.
Wow, that's a good amount of years.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite part of the job? What do you like about teaching at CSUSB the most?
I've made very good connections with some of my students, and I like to see the students make that aha moment where things really start to actually make sense, like helping the students learn. That's why I'm here, to help the students to think
Absolutely.
and figure out the problems.
Absolutely, I love it. And what are some helpful tips that you wish you could have told like your younger self coming up?
Well, I get the tips that I see with the students now is to definitely read the book and ask questions. I had one student ask me a couple of questions the other day, and I asked her, did she talk to her professors? And she said, no. Well, she was looking for a tutor. I said, well, the best thing to do is to ask your teacher, to ask your professor, and you get the best help.
That's very, very, excuse me, that's very true. So before we really get into our topic, I just wanted to give our viewers a chance to understand what Parkinson's disease is. So just to give a brief description of Parkinson's disease, according to the Parkinson's Disease Foundation, Parkinson's is a neurological degenerative disease that affects the dopamine produced in the body and contributes to a lack of balance, stiffness, and tremors, among other symptoms. So symptoms vary from person to person, and it depends on the amount of time the person has been diagnosed with the disease. According to the Ingenetics Health Center, over 1 million people in the United States and 5 million worldwide are living with Parkinson's disease, which means 1 in every 100 people have Parkinson's, and 60,000 new cases of Parkinson's disease are discovered every single year. That's some really interesting facts. So what we would like to learn from you today, Dr. Scott, is how many years ago were you diagnosed with Parkinson's disease?
I was first diagnosed back in 2008. It took a little time for me to figure out what was going on. When I was teaching at the University of Delaware, I was living in Delaware. I bought a house. I had flower gardens in the front and flower gardens in the back, and I was taking care of them for several years using Monsanto's Roundup weed killer. And I think the chemicals in the Monsanto's Roundup weed killer affected my nervous system, because that's when I started noticing differences in what was going on with my muscles, with my nerves.
Wow.
So that was from 1999 to 2006 when I lived there, and I was working with my flower garden.
Wow, that's very interesting. So how long did it take for you to find, for you to find out that you had Parkinson's disease after you first noticed the change?
Well, first I thought it was carpal tunnel. At least that's what the doctor told me. It started in my right hand. Everybody was complaining of carpal tunnel at that time. And then a little bit later, I noticed some other things that were different. So I went to the doctor and he said I had Parkinson's, and that there was nothing that they could do to cure it, that it's just going to get worse, and take these pills for the rest of my life.
Wow, that's a very huge change in your life. Did you have a support system during this journey to find out you had Parkinson's disease, or did you have, people that you could reach out to talk to about what was going on with you?
Well, my family is my support system, so I can
That's
always
wonderful.
talk to them. But, it progressively has gotten worse over time. Right now I'm on medication. I don't like the medication because it makes my head shake. But then if I don't take the medication, then my hand shakes and my dexterity, my dexterity becomes problematic. And so since I just got through teaching, I got to have my dexterity in order to work the computer. Otherwise.
So I noticed that you mentioned that the medication changes your dexterity. So is that the only impact that it's had on your daily life, or are there any other impacts that it's had on your daily life?
It affects with the medicine, it affects my dexterity, it affects my muscles in my neck and in my mouth. I don't like the medication, but then they tell me that I could get another medication, but it has its side effects too. And it can affect your organs and stuff. So I just said, well, I just stick with the one that I have.
Yeah.
And without the medication, a lot of times when I'm at home, I try to go without it and I can function. except sometimes it gets really bad. It just depends on what I need to do on how I take my medicine. Because at first the doctor told me to take 1 pill a day, and that was like too much. So now I take a half a pill at a time and kind of play with it.
Oh, so you actually have to play with the dosage a little bit to
Yep.
to regulate within your own system.
Yes.
Oh, okay. That's really interesting.
And
Well, go ahead.
I'm working on to balance the medication, working on some holistic measures to try to see if I could calm down the side effects where I don't have to take any medication at all.
That would be the goal.
Yeah.
So during the time that you found out, like, did it take you some time to like process the diagnosis, like basically like understanding like what happened? Did it take you time to like let that set in, and can you share with us what that process was like?
Well, when it first started, I had to take the medication. I tried to hide it so nobody would know, because if you have, say, diabetes, or if you have hypertension, you can't see that a person has it. But for Parkinson's, you can see it, it's visible.
Right.
So, but now I think I'm at the point where I can't hide it, and I'm even having an interview about it.
I think that's amazing.
It is for me.
So since you were diagnosed, have you like sought out any support groups or organizations that support the treatment and the research for Parkinson's?
I have not done that. It hasn't been that bad for me, I don't think. The doctors say that there's nothing that they can do about it except give me more pills. So.
Okay. That makes sense. So have your symptoms changed since you've been diagnosed with Parkinson's, and like how do you adjust to those changes?
Well, right now I see that my head is shaking because I've had the medication. So when I talk, it just does that. I can't do anything about it. Say 10 years ago, when I went to Dubai to live over there, it wasn't so bad. So I think that maybe eating a lot of sugary foods and processed foods made it a little worse over time, or maybe it just got worse over time anyway, because the doctor said that it's going to get worse over time. So I've adjusted the foods that I eat. So it's taken from 2010 to now, 10 years, and I got it diagnosed in 2008.
Wow. So you think that a diet can contribute to the symptoms getting worse?
I do.
Okay.
I think
that's good to know, because the society has pumped us up with a lot of processed stuff. So
yep.
We got to be careful what we put into our bodies.
Yeah.
This makes a whole lot of sense.
Yeah.
Another question that I have is, do you get the opportunity to share your story like with your students and your peers? I know Sabrina, which is one of our student employees, she is the reason why I was able to get in contact with you for this event. So I'm guessing that you do get an opportunity to share your story sometimes with your students. Is that something that you normally do?
No. Usually I don't, the students don't ask, and I don't say too much. I have shared it with a few of the students, but I don't talk about it that much.
Well, we definitely appreciate you talking about it today. So I have another question. What, if any, are there any like myths that people tend to have towards Parkinson's disease that maybe you can dispel for us? Because I know for myself, the only person that I've ever known to have it was Michael J. Fox and Muhammad Ali, but is there anything associated with having Parkinson's that people maybe don't understand or don't know?
Well, I don't know what people know. I don't know what people don't know. I can just tell you some of the changes that I notice for me to function with it. Sometimes I have to allow myself additional time to get ready to do things because
Right.
sometimes the dexterity it slows me down and it makes my muscles a little weaker. And sometimes it's better than others, you know? It's not
Yeah.
always bad, it's not always real good. So because I'm usually fairly independent and do things myself, so I have to ask. One change that I made is like the tennis shoes that I wear. I cannot depend upon myself to be able to tie my tennis shoes at any time because of the dexterity issue. And so I wear Skechers because I can just wear my tennis shoes and just slide my foot in.
That
So,
sounds like you got to give yourself some grace too, because
yeah.
I know for myself, if I'm running late, I tend to get frustrated if I wind up like spilling something on myself and like, dang, I gotta change. But it seems like you have to like show yourself a little more grace when it's time for you to do certain things, right?
Yeah. I can still function, fix my dinner, cook my food. I just give myself a little bit more time, and that way I give myself the grace.
Absolutely. That sounds beautiful. So since I've asked a lot of questions so far, I think that our students, by looks of the chat, they're really interested in getting to know you a little bit more. Would you be willing to answer some of their questions as well?
Sure. Yes.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do is ask Allie to assist me because she's the one who's been taking down the questions. And you have so much positivity going on right now. If you guys want to show her some love and positivity, just put your thumbs up and do some round of applauses for her so she can see all the support that she has. Like it just warms my heart. That's all I can say about it. But everyone has been extremely kind in the chat box. They're asking a lot of questions. So if Allie could go ahead and come in so that she can ask you some more questions. We have more questions from our students.
Okay. I can't hear you.
Let's see.
Can you hear me better now?
Yes, so much.
Okay, there we go. Betty asked, what medication what medication helps?
I take Cinemet. It's carbidopa, levodopa. It's the main medication that they say to take for Parkinson's.
So does that medication increase the dopamine in your brain?
It increases the dopamine, and I don't know exactly how it works. It kind of calms down my hands.
Okay.
So I can do what I need to do.
Another question from the chat is, sorry, there's just so many. But thank you so much, guys. We love that you're participating.
You guys are awesome.
Christopher asks, what tests exist to determine if someone has it?
Well, the doctor would make you stand out like this and hold your hand and see if it trembles like that. He'll watch you walk to see if you drag your foot.
Okay. They were wondering if there by chance was any like blood test, or is it just that physical scene?
Physical, and they do some other physical tests to see the strength of your muscles.
Thank you so much. Vicky asks, what sort of holistic measures does Dr. Scott, so you, do? And if you could share more about this.
Well, I eat mostly plant-based now. Eating plant-based, I lost 70 pounds.
Wow.
And I had some other health issues. A lot of those have gone away. And So now I have almost completed eliminating sugar, processed sugar from my diet. So mostly plant-based, with lots of water, no soda, cut back on the alcohol, big time. I used to drink Grand Marnier. That was great.
Well,
$4 vanilla ice cream, which is real good. So I could put
That
that.
sounds delicious.
So changing my lifestyle eating is the big thing. I always exercise. I was always physical. I was always good in sports. So I keep my exercise up. I went for a walk this morning. One thing that I need to incorporate is to make sure I get enough sleep. So
Don't we all?
that's the truth.
need to go to bed earlier because I can stay up. I've always been able to, I'm a night owl. I've always been a night owl, even when I was a teenager. In my youth, I've always been a night owl. So now the thing is to go to bed, which I'm gonna try. I'm not gonna try, I'm gonna do my best to go to bed like at 9 o'clock p.m. And for me, that's big because sometimes I go to bed at 12, 1, 2 in the morning, something like that. So start going to bed at 9 o'clock and get my full sleep, just wake up whenever I wake up.
Mm-hmm.
But
A few people have said in the chat that definitely changing diet is something to stay healthy in both mind and body. So
yeah. And nothing but water and tea.
oh, I love a good cup of tea.
No
Yes.
sugar, cut back on the coffee
Chamomile.
a lot.
I gotta
Yeah.
do that. I'm gonna have to do that one.
And all the sugar and all the cream that I used to put in the coffee.
Oh, yeah.
That's the thing with the coffee is the cream and the sugar and all the stuff that's added.
Mm-hmm.
All those additives.
Yeah, it affects you greatly.
So another question, Lucinda says she thinks you're very brave. And do you adjust your meds because you have self-awareness of your own body?
Yes, I'm definitely aware of my own body. I can feel it when it's coming on. I can feel it when the medicine's kicking in. I can feel it when the medicine's going away.
I think
Olga?
that's really important to know when you're, even now with all the stuff that's happening, I think it's very important to just be aware of your body, aware of symptoms, aware of eating habits and everything. It's really important right now.
I say the best thing that you guys can do for yourselves is to eat a lot of fresh fruits and fresh vegetables. The 80 to 90% of your foods that you eat, fresh fruit and fresh veggies.
Yes.
That's research that I have done on healthy eating.
It's funny you say that. I actually have an orange right next to me if I became a little peckish to eat something.
Yeah, it's the easiest thing. It's the easiest thing. You know, I tell people that I changed my lifestyle eating and they say, what do you eat? I said, fresh fruit and fresh veggies. You can fix fresh fruit, fresh veggies, all kind of ways.
I totally agree with that.
It's those waffles, bacon, and eggs that get you.
Oh no, right? They're so good.
They're good, but they'll catch up. They'll catch up to you in the end, huh?
Olga asked, how does Parkinson's affect you psychologically?
Well, I really didn't want other people to know that I had it. But now, like on the first day of class, the medicine, sometimes the medicine helps, sometimes the medicine makes it worse. On the first day of class, it made it worse. And I couldn't hide it. And Sabrina saw that. And then she asked me to come here and speak.
And we're so happy you're speaking with us. We
really appreciate it. We really appreciate it. We appreciate you even taking the time out to do it. Because I figured that it would be like something with any circumstances of a person being diagnosed with something that has changed their life drastically. It would probably be a difficult subject to talk about, but we definitely appreciate you being willing and being brave enough and strong enough to talk to us about it. Everyone on here has been 100% in support of you sharing your story, and we appreciate it.
You're welcome. Yeah, I can't believe that I'm doing this myself. But I've been trying to hide it for the longest, but it is what it is. Can't hide it forever, not at this point.
So many people in the chat are thanking you for sharing, and also thanking you for being here and saying that you're so brave, and it's so nice that you're being so open. Another question from Susan is, does timing your medication affect your sleep cycle?
No, when I get sleepy, I sleep.
Yeah.
No, that's right.
Doesn't affect my sleep cycle. One of the things I want to add on eating foods is that I eat a lot of nuts with raisins, walnuts, Brazil nuts.
Someone just asked about that, so that's perfect that you answered that.
Brazil
Yeah,
nuts.
Danielle asked about, what about nuts? Are they not agreeable with your diagnosis?
Yeah, Brazil nuts are good. Brazil nuts has selenium, and selenium is supposed to be good for the brain. So I eat a lot of Brazil nuts and walnuts without salt. With the nuts I eat, I do not add the additional salt because the salt affects the other organs in the body. So I watch that. The liver and kidneys, and for the blood, you know, gotta be careful. So I just get the plain Brazil nuts and walnuts and sunflower seeds, unsalted.
I eat sunflower seeds like no other. They are one of my favorite things to eat.
Just eating those today.
Right?
Mix the nuts with raisins, it's really good. So it kind of counters my sweet tooth with the raisins, with the nuts, and I want sometimes crunchy.
Yeah, Danielle added, she's like, I love salt, and then a little frowny face. We do, but we know what it does to some organs. Another question is from Fred. Has it affected your driving?
Well, I go slower. That's a good thing.
I know that's right. Gotta be careful.
From where I was doing, I don't drive long distances like I used to because it sometimes makes my back tight. So I drive short distances. And if I do plan to drive long distance, I plan for it so I can take my medicine so I can make the long drives. But I don't like taking the medicine, so I don't like taking the long drives.
Yeah. Personally, I drive to Arizona quite often, so it's an 8-hour drive. So I know the hardships of long drives on that part, where it's just, goodness, my bottom hurts after that long. Another question, both Danielle and Roxanne asked about your mental and emotional support. Does your family and friends help out? And then Roxanne added, how does your friends and family support you? What type of support do you prefer?
They help out. My sister, she's just like, she asked me if she can help me do some things because she knows that I'm so used to doing things myself. So family support is good. They give me good emotional support. To ask them to do things for me, I can still do a lot of things myself.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I feel every once in a while when I've sprained my ankle, sometimes I'm just like, I can do this. I know I can do this. And so I know that in my experience, it's like, if I know I need help, I'll definitely ask. And it sounds like you're a lady to do everything yourself and then ask if you really do need it.
Yeah. But then I don't take on things that I can't do, or I just wait and have some other people do things for me, like mow my lawn. I'm not even going to try to use the lawnmower. Have somebody come do that.
Who likes mowing grass anyways?
We have another question that Betty asked. She said, please teach me if I happen to approach a person with Parkinson's, like what's the best way to approach someone that you happen to notice that has Parkinson's disease? Like, and you just want to know if that's something that they might have or not. Like, what's the best way to, like, even with Sabrina, I know that she probably approached you as well, but what's the best way, like, that you feel is a respectful way to be approached about it?
Well, one time I was at the grocery store and I was having trouble opening up my bag. Those plastic bags, they kind of difficult to open up anyway, even for people without Parkinson's. But one particular day I was having trouble. So I just asked somebody to help me out, a stranger, and they said, oh, sure. So they opened it and I put my vegetables in there. But the best way to approach, if you're gonna ask me, do I have Parkinson's? I never had anybody approach me to ask me that question.
Okay.
They just look, they offer to help to do things. And it depends on what's going on or how my level of difficulty that I have doing it, whether I say yes or no, or thank you, no thank you.
Mm-hmm. And then I have another question that Sabrina asked, and she was wondering, you know, since we've converted over to this virtual platform, what challenges did you face, and what advice would you give to students with disabilities who have difficulties like using this virtual platform?
Well, teaching online now, it involves me using the computer a lot and moving in little small, just small increments. And sometimes when it gets bad, my hand might shake. And so it's kind of hard to drive the mouse, right? With your hand shaking like that. So that becomes a challenge. I don't know how to conquer that other than take my medicine to have more control over it.
Thank you for sharing. Allie, did you have any other questions?
Another question was, Lucinda was wondering if you ever considered deep brain stimulation.
Deep brain stimulation, does that mean they have to have surgery on my brain? That's the last resort.
Yeah.
Doctor mentioned having some kind of surgery. I don't know what he called it, but whatever surgery, I'm like, no, thank you. On my brain, I'm here to get the surgery they have for the eyes because I wear glasses.
Oh, LASIK?
Yeah, LASIK surgery. A lot of people have had them, but I'm like, no, it would be my luck. The doctor slipped.
Mm-hmm.
And then last question, because I see that we're getting close to our time. From Christopher, does she sorry about that. Does she have the feeling of falling forward when she's walking? Is that a symptom that occurs in all people that have been diagnosed with Parkinson's?
Well, you got to be having it for a long time. I walk just fine, and I don't feel like I'm falling. I took an hour walk today down the street, getting my exercise.
Everyone should get out and do a little bit of walking.
Yes.
It is a necessity while we're in our isolation right now.
Yeah. Well,
So,
it's part of my exercise program that I've been doing for a long time. Take my walks, get some sunshine, get my vitamin D. That's important that we all should be doing, right?
yes.
Absolutely, we can.
Everyone in the chat just thanks you so much for your time. And Christina, if you want to end it off and do.
All right. So again, we would just really love to thank Dr. Scott for joining us today and shedding light on Parkinson's disease. Thank you for inspiring us with your story, with your words of advice and your encouragement for our students, our faculty, and our staff. This is information that we can definitely use whether we have Parkinson's or not, whether we have a disability or not. This is information that anybody can use. Dr. Scott, is there anything else that you would like to share with us?
Yeah, don't use Monsanto Roundup weed killer.
Well,
watch out for all those chemicals that affect the nervous system.
that sounds like wonderful advice to me. You guys stick around for the opportunity drawing right at the end. Now we would like to have everyone to participate in a brief survey for us. The survey is just to gather information about your experience, what we can do to improve on events like this, and what we can do, you know, to make it better for you guys the next time. We appreciate all of your support. And here is the poll. If you could go ahead and type your answers in, and then as soon as the poll is done, we will go ahead and do our opportunity drawing. If you guys stick around, we'll go ahead and do that right after the poll. So we'll give you guys some time and a little bit of music to do your poll. Dr. Scott, Danielle says, bless you always and thank you for sharing with us as she's personally helping with family with the disease or with disabilities. She wants to learn how to help. Everyone is submitting so much positivity. We just appreciate all of you guys for sharing. Thank you so much for sharing and taking your time out to put information in here about Parkinson's disease. We appreciate everybody who is taking the poll.
This is the first time that I've talked to a group of people, even people I don't know about it. So this is a huge step for me.
Yes, I agree. And we also appreciate you taking that step with services to students with disabilities. We appreciate you taking that opportunity to share your story with us. Everyone appreciates it. Says, thank you so much for sharing and being here from Scarlett. She appreciates you. Everyone in the chat room has said nothing but positive things. Irene says, thank you for being so brave and sharing. She says she learned a lot. I think a lot of us have learned a lot from this experience. We really, really appreciate everyone for taking their time out to do the poll. Danielle said, if it weren't for people like you stepping out, where would we be? You know, we'd still be in the dark. There's a lot of people that can gather inspiration and motivation to keep pushing past whatever their disability is and continue learning more about this and many other diseases that are out there in the world. Paula says that this is very inspiring. And we have I think there's, we do have one more question if you'd like to answer.
Yes, because I need a little bit more time because there's so many participants. Thank you so much.
So
I just entering in all the names. So if you want to ask a few more questions before we get back to that raffle, I'll get that up as soon as possible, okay?
Okay. So Dr. Scott, Diamond asks, what is something that you always love doing even when your Parkinson's symptoms are challenging? So even when you're dealing with some challenges throughout the day, what is something that you love doing? Like, no matter what happens, you will always be able to do this.
Well, I love dancing. Dancing was one of my favorite things. And so with the Parkinson's, it's kind of hindered that to some degree because I can't move like I used to move. And I used to move pretty good. And so now I can't move like I used to. Wow. So I have to take the medicine in order for that to move kind of like I used to. But before I used to love to dance. I used to love to go dancing.
A question from Christina Johnston. What advice might you have to disabled students who are starting in their career?
Well, I guess it depends on what the disability is. but to be aware of yourself, know what you can and cannot do, and look for holistic ways to help your body heal.
Do you use any holistic measurements for yourself right now?
Well, I've taken different herbs over the years, but the biggest thing is changing my lifestyle eating habits. And
That's good.
based upon the research, changing your lifestyle eating habits will help a whole variety of diseases and symptoms.
Okay, so I think, do we have any last questions? Last ones.
You do. Let's see.
They're saying you're
When you
so
started,
inspirational.
it says, when you started your plant-based diet, what was your best resource to use? Like what type of research did you do?
Well, first I started looking for Parkinson's cure on YouTube with different videos, and which got me into plant-based eating. And then plus I was living in Dubai and I was getting massage therapy. And my massage therapist was telling me about the paleo diet. So that got me started, but I'm not on paleo diet. I don't recommend that, but that got me started. I think plant-based is the best way to go. And to YouTube videos talking about different health issues, how to cure this disease or that disease, and it came down to boil down to just a few things: changing your lifestyle eating and sleeping and exercise and vitamin D, and getting your rest and exercising. And so I would listen to these videos while I go take my walk, put my headphones on, and I go for my walk for about an hour or so. So that helped out a lot.
Yeah. Elizabeth asked, what recommendations would you advise students with disabilities, such as Parkinson's, when they're applying to their job or career during an interview?
Well, I just applied. I never really talked about it. And if they ask about it, then I would just tell them that sometimes my handshakes is just one of the things that happen. I don't go into a big detail. I just tell them that my handshake is one of the symptoms.
A lot of people are talking about your diet, where an iPad user says they're happy to hear the plant-based diet is the way to go. Another person, Danielle, talks about yellowtail tuna and fish are here. She heard are good sources. Do you eat lean meat or fish?
Well, sometimes I eat salmon. Sometimes I eat tuna, but not that often.
I just had salmon the other night.
So did I.
Cutting the salmon and I definitely cut red meats. So all red meats are out. So maybe sometimes fish once in a while, and then I get the wild caught fish if I do. And I supplement, because I don't eat a lot of meat, I supplement with vitamin B12. They say if you're a vegetarian that you should supplement with B12 because B12, your body does not make it naturally. So I take that. Found some chewable ones. They taste pretty good.
Yeah. I know sometimes like fish oils can be kind of fishy, obviously, so.
You're a little gross. Just saying.
So
I think there was another question.
Christopher pointed out it's not legal to ask about disabilities during an interview, and that his wife is a human resource manager.
Oh, well, there you have it. So Sabrina asks, after this event, would you be more willing to like share your story and talk about your disability with your students?
Well, I talked to him about it today, told him I'm going to have this interview today. It's the first time. I would just mention it in passing. I didn't really talk about it with all these questions. I never did that. I just told them that I had it, and sometimes this happens, and so I'll move on. If I have to pass out papers, and if my hand was shaking too much, I couldn't do it, then I would ask a student to help. Well, even before it became problematic, I would ask students to help pass out papers anyway. So that was no big change. It's just me making a point of doing it.
Absolutely. So how do you, would you, go ahead.
Sorry. Lucinda asks, have you ever considered writing a book about your journey? Your story is very inspirational.
Yes, I have. I've had several people, I can't even count, more than 10, more than 20 people. A lot of people have told me that I should share my story.
There's your confirmation right there.
I mean,
this was before Parkinson's was as visible as it is. This was because I was raised 2 twins, boy-girl twins on my own while I went for the PhD program and made it through that.
Wow.
They graduated from college, from Arizona State, so I'm proud of them for doing that.
That sounds awesome.
I would definitely love to read that during class.
a few people are saying, amen, I would read it.
Yeah.
I
would read it.
So now
Yes.
I would bring in my personal challenges, my travels, because I've been able to travel to a lot of different countries.
Mm-hmm.
My children to some of these countries. I have different crossroads, opportunities in life where I had to decide where I wanted to go, or what is it that I want to do. First crossroad was, did I want to start my own CPA firm, or did I want to go for the PhD program, or did I want to work for my previous manager at another CPA firm, which I would be partnered by now, for sure. But that was one crossroads. Another crossroad was, did I want to, as I was leaving Arizona State University, did I want to teach at the University of Hawaii or at a university in the Emirate of Dubai? I chose Dubai.
Oh, wow.
That's nice.
Yeah, it was. So I was there for 6.5 years, did a lot of traveling. So my children got a chance to see and traveled internationally as well. And all this as a single mom. So people say I should write stories about that. And now, because you guys see the Parkinson's, you say I'm dealing with the health challenges, I should write about that. So when I started working on my health challenge, I was growing, not taller, I was growing wider and wider and wider. And every time you keep growing wider, you have to buy another size dress and another size dress and another size dress. And so that gets expensive because you're replacing your wardrobe. And then I noticed various other health issues. And so I decided to take control of my life, to take control of what I want to do. And that's when I decided to change my diet. Lost to 70 pounds. And a lot of the symptoms of other issues went away. So
wow.
I stayed with the plant-based diet. And I'm getting even more, I would say more strict with myself, but even more selective, because you be choosing foods that helps your body respond, that helps your body boost your immune system.
That's good.
That's how I choose my foods now, not just for the taste. I mean, the taste is important, but boosting the immune system is key. And the coronavirus just emphasizes that fact.
Mm-hmm.
You want to boost your immune system, and eating plant-based and drinking lots of water and eating nuts and getting sunshine and rest and exercise boosts your immune system. So that's key.
Scarlett says food is fuel, and that is very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
One of the things you said while you were talking about teaching actually spoke to me, because I want to be a teacher, is that you went into teaching to get that aha moment, and that's exactly how I describe it, is that moment. When did you start, like, actually being like, this is what I want, is to teach?
Well, I've always have been a person who encourage others to do something positive. So that's my nature. So when I decided to go for the PhD in accounting, I was looking how I could stay home with my twins. And so the option was to get an education. And I saw that as a win-win scenario. Go for the PhD, I can stay home. I didn't know the PhD was be as challenging as it was. So I was a little bit naive. But I saw it as a way for me to stay home and get more scholarship money so I can fund myself, finance myself, and care for my children.
That's incredible.
I didn't want them to be latchkey kids, you know, come home and no parent at home, and they at home for the next 4 or 5 hours and no parent there. I didn't want that. So that was important to me. And so teaching was a way that allowed that to happen. I mean, I couldn't go wrong. I get the summers off. I get Christmas time off.
Right.
Okay. I do okay. I work from home. So that was important while I was raising children, was having a position where I could work from home so I can be home with my children. So that was important to me as well.
And then also, just a quick question. Where have you traveled to by chance?
I start not in this order, but I'll say I've been to Honduras, Belize, Guatemala, Mexico, Canada, Caribbean, Egypt, Ethiopia, Qatar, Dubai, France, Paris, Rome in Italy, UK, London, and another place there, to Bali.
Oh my goodness, this is so much.
Qatar.
Wow. I want to be like you when I grow up. Shoot.
Egypt.
I want to go.
I've been to Egypt twice.
Wow.
I've never been there. I want to go there.
Ethiopia was with a tour group, and I've been to Nepal, another Asian country I can't think of. I wanted to go to India, but setting up the timing of it all, it just didn't work out. I want to see the Taj Mahal. I want to go there, and then I want to go in the southern part of India. I also been to the country right below India. Need to look at my map.
People are asking, what was your favorite place you traveled?
Oh. Nepal was nice. Egypt was nice. I was gonna go to Morocco, didn't go there. I'm still traveling.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's right.
Still traveling, still getting around.
Sri Lanka, that's the place. Sri Lanka was nice.
Yeah, one of our students say that, Sri Lanka.
Lumpur, in the Asian islands over there. Near Malaysia in Lumpur. So I've always wanted to travel. I didn't know how I was going to travel, but I've been to Hawaii also several times, a couple of times. So I've been able to travel with my PhD. And so I think that is awesome. And I've been able to take my children to some of the places also. Like when I went to London, I had a conference and my daughter was living in Phoenix. So I asked her, did she want to come to London? And she said, yeah. So I had my conference and then she flew and she met me in London and then we sightsee.
Wow. This is so incredible. A lot of people are still saying you should write a book.
Everybody is like, she needs to tell her story. She got so many adventures she's been on. Somebody needs to hear your story. Like,
Yeah.
it sounds like you've had quite the adventure.
Yeah, Betty says you need to write. I want to hear her thoughts, feelings about the various adventures in her life. Hawaii is great.
Yeah, so I'm very grateful that I've been able to do the things that I've been able to do.
Beautiful.
So, as we have stated before, everyone says thank you so much for sharing, and they could listen to you for just hours. But we are nearing the end, so I'm going to screen share for the drawing.
Oh, we've gotten to the dessert. We've had our dinner, and now we're having our dessert.
Okay. Here we go, guys.
Who are
Who we gonna land on? There's so many people.
Looks like Monica C has won. Yes.
So,
Allie?
so Monica, if you can either message me privately in the chat, or if you can stick around till the end, and we can get your information to give you that gift card. Everyone give claps for Monica for winning.
Hey. Awesome. Thank you, everybody, for supporting us. I would like to thank again, Dr. Scott. You have been phenomenal. We truly appreciate you stepping out and allowing yourself to be vulnerable with us tonight. We appreciate all of the sound advice that you've given us. You've taught us about lifestyle changes. You've taught us how to be better people, regardless of what your ability or lack thereof is. I would also like to thank Sabrina for allowing us to be connected directly to you. Robert, for your tech support. Allie, for all of your recording, all of your wonderful energy. I appreciate everybody who has contributed to this event. Dr. Scott, is there anything else that you would like to say before we end our meeting?
Yes, I just like to thank you and Sabrina for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. This will be the conclusion of our meeting. We hope that you guys have a wonderful weekend. Good luck on the midterms coming up. Study and read, like Professor said, read your book and ask questions. Also, look out for us on all of our social media platforms. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, and we will have more events coming up soon. Actually, we have one coming up next at the end of this week. It's a Tech Talk with Sabrina and Robert. We'll be teaching people how to use our Zoom and PowerPoint presentations a lot better. So tune in for that information. Thank you, everyone, and good night.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.